Today's episode is sponsored by me because I finished the first season of Succession. Round of applause for me, please.
Beautiful. We're so proud.
Thank you. Thank you. It took
Wow.
mm, maybe a year or so.
Yeah.
But yeah, I finished. How many seasons are there?
Four? Four?
Oh, okay. Well, hit me up in 4 years
Yeah.
then. Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, it was great, huh? How about that car crash in the body of water, huh?
How about it? How about
Mm,
it?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mistakes
Anyways,
were made that night.
mistakes were made.
Yeah.
Um, I feel accomplished. I
Mm,
feel, I feel driven. I
mm.
feel
Love that.
successful. Get
Wow.
it? Succession.
I got it. Wow.
Um, so yeah, thank you.
What a time
I
to be
personally,
alive.
I would like to thank everybody in my life that made this happen, particularly Julie, who was a big source of encouragement and
Thank you.
inspiration in this process.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yes,
I'm very proud of you. I don't think I've ever been prouder, if we're
thank
being
you.
honest. Yeah.
Thank you.
You've peaked.
I have peaked. It's not going to get any better than this. So sorry,
That's
everyone.
hilarious. No, I
Sorry.
love it.
Thank you. Welcome to You, Me, and Chisme, your number one source for Chisme on the internet. Julie and Adrian back after a week off. Um, Julie. Why did we take a week off? I don't remember.
That was on you, baby.
Yeah, I know it was me. It was me. Listen, I was busy and exhausted. Um, but I got my paycheck yesterday, which was nice. So,
Wow. I bet it
Julie,
was. You've been working that ass off.
let me tell you something.
Tell
Let
it.
me tell you
Tell it. Tell
something.
the world.
I we turn in our timesheets every 2 weeks. I turned in a timesheet with 100 hours.
Holy shit, Adrian. Oh my
um,
God.
I know. Isn't that annoying?
100% annoying.
And then that doesn't include this past Sunday where I worked 12 hours. And so oh, anyways. And that's honestly, it's not even like, I'm not saving lives. I'm not doing anything important to society.
I don't
Um
think that's true.
I'll tell you it's true. But
I think fun events are important to society.
okay, well no one said the word fun.
Well, not
Um
maybe not fun for you, but someone's having fun.
you know what? I'm sure a lot of families had fun on Sunday, and that I'm sure was
Okay.
nice. Yeah, I'm sure it was
So,
important for them. Yeah. Anyways, I'm back.
damn. You're such a hard worker. My
Well,
job is lucky if I clock out on time. I usually leave
that's
early.
first. Well, that's not true, Miss. I get a star every 2 weeks, a star bonus. Right? Am I right?
Well, I don't know about every 2 weeks.
Uh-huh. But you get them often. Now listen, Julie is a favorite in the office. Everybody goes to her. Everybody's like, Julie's so talented, Julie's so great, Julie's so funny. Um, am I right?
What? I'm just
Well, and listen, we have something in common. We're
Yes.
both very good at what we do, and people enjoy being around us. So
Right.
we get asked to do beyond, we get asked to do
Yes.
things a lot. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, I didn't even go to the gym last week. That's how busy I was.
Wow.
There was only one day I could really go. My trainer was also on vacation, so
Well,
but I
yeah.
told him, I was like, because he asked me when I saw him this week, he's like, did you come last week? I was like, I didn't, but that's because I would have only had one day to come see you because I worked late Monday, Tuesday, Thursday,
Hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then Friday I was visiting my mom for her birthday. And then Saturday I was like, well, Sunday I worked, but I worked from home, and I was like, I just need a day to like relax. And then Saturday I could have gone, but then I was like, well, I also need another day to relax because I have to be at work at 7 a.m. the next day.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, he's very nice about it. So, it's not one of those abusive relationships.
Right. And that's good. I'm happy
And
for
that's great.
you.
Yeah. Okay. Anyways, Julie, what have you been up to? Are you married? Do you have a sugar daddy? Do
Yes.
you,
Yes to both.
uh-huh.
Yes.
What happened? Okay. What's going on?
I'm not married and
Not
I don't
married.
have a sugar daddy, though I am
No.
accepting applications for that if anyone is
Okay.
interested. I've just been here.
Hmm.
I do feel like I had so much to tell you and suddenly it's all left my brain.
Suddenly you can't
So,
see.
so
Huh.
yeah, I don't know. What did I do in the 2 weeks that we were off? I read
Oh, what are you reading?
a lot of romance novels. I am
Mm.
horned up like you wouldn't believe.
Oh
I
my
am
God.
wound up like you wouldn't believe it.
Did you
I'm
call
edging
somebody?
myself on a daily. Like
Oh,
it's just
edging. Oh my God.
constant,
Uh-huh.
constant horny reading, which I wasn't, it's not done on purpose. It's like I'll go on TikTok and look for book recommendations. I'll be like, I do ideally like a romance novel, and then I'll start the romance novel and I'm like, this is cute. Oh, there's a penis. Now we're diving into something deeper. It really feels like TikTok recommendations need to make it clear we're recommending a dirty book. And
Mm.
sometimes they don't make it clear.
What do they
So
say? It's like about love. It's about.
right. It's a girl works at this place and then her boss, and it's like, and I'm like, oh, that sounds cute. And then I'll read it and then I'm like, oh, penis. Though there was one that there's an author. I just had this conversation with Candace.
Hi,
There's an
Candace.
author, hi Candace, that writes spicy books, and I had read like a ton of them of hers because I like her writing. And then I started another one that was like, it was called like Strangers in My Bed or something like that. And I was
Hmm.
like, oh, interesting, that sounds cute. And then I started reading it, and at first I was like, oh, this is, oh, okay, I get it, it's kind of hot. Like she meets this guy and the guy really gets off on like having strangers in her bed and watching the sexual interactions. So I was like, oh, cool, interesting. And then slowly the book starts like turning, and I was like, this isn't hot anymore. What's
Uh-oh.
happening? And I don't know if I like skipped over a trigger page or something, because sometimes when it's like darks, they'll put like a page of like FYI, stay
Oh,
away if this isn't your
uh-huh.
thing. I don't know if I skipped over that or if they didn't have one or what happened, because her books have never had a trigger warning. So anyway, it was about domestic violence. I was like, oh
Oh.
my God. Because you slowly start realizing that she's not into it, but she's doing it because she's so into him and he's into it. So she's like, I want to do this thing because like, it turns him on and it turns me on that he's turned on, but I'm not turned on by these guys, kind of thing. And she constantly has to get drunk to do it. And then, like, it's little things like he'll be like, she'll be like, oh, do you want to eat pizza tonight? And he'll be like, don't, we're not eating pizza, remember, we're staying away from the blah. But he'll do it in like a loving. It really tripped me out. It tripped me out because at the beginning I was like, oh, I guess this is kind of hot. I can see how this is alluring. And then I was like, oh bitch, it's not. I felt weird about it afterwards because it was like, I
Interesting.
I still don't know if I liked it. Maybe if I would have read a trigger page I would have enjoyed it more. If I would have noticed a trigger page, I should go back and see if it has one. But um, yeah, it just made me feel like not great at the end. I was like reading so quickly because I was like, I just need to get it done. I almost DNF'd it, which is like do not finish. I almost not didn't finish it because it was hard to read. It was
Interesting.
hard to read.
Can we know the title of the book, or you not? Should we not share?
Well, the title is Strangers in My Bed, but the author is Jade West.
Jade. Jade
Jade.
West.
She
Jade
he
West
caught
sounds
me
like a
off
fake name.
guard. It probably is like a pen name.
Yeah. Jade West.
Yeah, everything else has been great by hers though. I read another one that was really good. I read like three of them and I was like, "Oh, I love this." And then this one just caught me off. And I don't know if I'm still grappling with my thoughts on it. Like, was it a really great written book
Uh-huh.
about domestic violence?
Uh-huh.
And, and did I just feel weird because I went into it thinking it was going to be something else?
Mm.
And so now I'm feeling weird about it because it was a hard read though. So don't read it if like it's
Uh-huh.
he doesn't like hit her, but he's manipulating her and emotionally uh abusing her as well. So
But you
yeah,
finished it.
I did. I finished the whole
Was
thing.
there like a conclusion that make you felt okay or
I mean, she ends up, so it's like she's with him, then she meets the guy has like a his assistant living in his big house with him, and she meets the assistant, and then they really connect. And she's like, "This is weird. Like he treats me a little bit better than my boyfriend does." So anyway, she ends up falling in love with the assistant, and the
uh-huh.
assistant helps her realize that she's being abused, and then
Uh-huh.
they go off and get married. But then the guy, you get an epilogue from his point of view, the abuser,
Uh-huh.
and like he's like looking for his next victim, which is also like, I guess, real, you know?
Uh-huh.
Some men abuse women, they get away with it, and then they go and look for their next victim.
Uh-huh. Hmm.
Yeah.
Can we get you like a book on like, you know, happy things? I don't know,
No,
something
after that though, I did read
inspirational.
I read Reckless by Elsie Silver. I've talked about her before on here. It's phenomenal. It's phenomenal. It's very cute. It's very sweet. It like made me giggle. I was like, I
Okay.
totally was reading the book like, oh, this is adorable. So yeah, I've gotten rid of the weird feeling after Strangers in My Bed. I actually don't know if that's the title of the book, but it's strangers. There's strangers bed. I just don't know the words in between. Is it
Okay.
strangers in my bed, strangers in the bed, strangers in our bed? I don't know.
Uh-huh. There's
But there were
strangers in
strangers and
a
and
bed.
there's a bed. Yeah, there's a bed and there's some
Uh-huh.
strangers. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Listen, at least one of us reads around here. Good for you, Julie. A round of applause.
That's so funny though, because I did
Did
I
somebody tell you
just
that somebody was like, "Oh, Adrian doesn't read, huh?" Because I heard that this week, and they're like, "Oh, we know you don't read. The way you talk on that podcast, the way you don't know how to spell."
oh my God. Who said that? I'll fight them.
No, I'm not going to tell you. You don't need to fight them.
Oh my God. I will fight them right now.
No.
Um, that is hilarious. They probably think the same about me. So I'm constantly mispronouncing stuff, which is so funny because I was telling my nephew that he's I call him like in the middle of even though it's a summer break, so he can read me chapters of Holes so that
Uh-huh.
his
That Shia LaBeouf
pronunciation
book?
it's sure. So his pronunciation and his spelling gets better. And then I was thinking to myself, not to him, because I don't like him to think I'm dumb. But I was like, damn, I do a lot of reading for someone that miss says things all the fucking pronounces
Mispronounce.
things. Look, see, see, and people always call me out on it on our TikTok videos, and I'm tired of it.
Uh-huh.
I am tired of it. This one girl was like, um, like in the nicest way. She's like, love your video, but I thought I should say, but I don't even remember what it was about. And I was like, oh, babe, don't look at any of my other videos. You're gonna get really upset about it. I mispronounce all the names constantly.
That's
Anyway,
okay. That's okay.
yeah, we're not dumb. We're just, well,
I could be a little dumb sometimes, but who could it be or who isn't, right?
right. I do think I'm a little dumb. If we're being honest, if we're being serious, I do think
You're not dumb.
I don't know about all that.
No,
I
you're
think
not
I am
you're
a
not
little
like
bit.
dumb dumb.
Well, I don't know. Sometimes I can be. You
Okay, give
know,
us an example.
Well, I couldn't remember the word mispronounced. So.
I will say, when you're here, the lights are on, the recording button is flashing, and you're just talking and talking, and like,
Yeah,
sometimes you just forget things. It's called a brain
sure.
fart. But you know the word mispronounce.
I do. And I honestly feel like I said it like 3 sentences before the time that I
Probably.
forgot it. I hate myself. But I won't give you an example when I'm done because there's tons. And I'm sure you can listen to the podcast and be like, this is a spot. And I'm sure Jaime's bitch ass is gonna be like in minute 21 and 37 seconds of episode 58, you said, but I picked up Dante's Inferno, this
Uh-huh.
book, to
Uh-huh.
prepare myself for Hosier's album. And I started reading it and I was like, oh, bitch, I may be too dumb for this. This is literature. Like, it's too much. I need to read it slowly. I'm just kidding. I'm only
Funniest
partly
thing you
kidding.
have ever said. I
I'm
mean,
only
but
partly kidding.
yeah, I mean, I read Dante's Inferno in school. Like, that's not.
I've never read it.
Oh, interesting. Um, did he say that that's
Um,
what he was reading when he recorded
mhm.
this album?
It's inspired by that story.
It's inspired by. You could just
Mhm.
read the Wikipedia page then.
No, I want to
Okay,
immerse myself
I
in the
see.
story.
I see.
There's actually a woman on YouTube that talks about literature, and she has a ton of videos on Hosier and like literature that connects to his songs. And I do want to reach out to her to like do this. Speaking of times that I feel dumb, I wanted to reach out to her to do like a podcast episode where we
Uh-huh.
talk about Dante's Inferno and the Hosier album once it comes out. And then I was like, I may be too dumb for that conversation actually.
Well, if you're gonna be
For
too dumb
me.
for that conversation, I mean, what am I gonna be?
I mean, to be determined. And I'm actually kidding. I haven't started Dante's Inferno, so I don't know. That was a joke. I want to be clear. I don't know if it's going to make me feel dumb, but I feel like it might.
And all the people who have really good memories are listening to this and they're like, oh my God, I can't believe they're talking about Dante's Inferno like this because Dante's Inferno says blah, 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 blah. I
Right.
don't remember. I know that I read it in school, but I don't remember that much about it. Okay. And why is he
Interesting.
inspired by Dante's Inferno? What is
I
going
don't
on
know.
with him?
He's inspired by all kinds of weird shit.
Oh my God. Um,
Well,
okay.
that's what Francesca, his song Francesca is about. Sorry, about one of the stories in Dante's Inferno. And since he said that Dante's Inferno is like the inspiration behind, he's taking inspiration of that story. I'm like, well, I want to fully understand his songs because I do feel like Hosier sometimes. Hosier and like there's this other duo called Penny and Sparrow. They also created Penny and Sparrow is so interesting to me, but they did songs based on characters from Les Mis,
Uh-huh.
like furthering their stories, and that was so interesting to me. And Hosier, I feel like sometimes his lyrics are so vague and so beyond my scope of understanding sometimes that I'm like, I need to understand where you're coming from to see where you got, because I'm
Mm.
confused, you know.
And I don't like that.
Oh, I do.
I don't like that.
I do.
Like, I don't like that.
Make me think, bitch.
No, just tell me what you mean. I just want to know
Sure.
I want to know what you are talking about. That's it. That's
Sure.
it.
Right.
Hoisier,
I like both.
right. But then I'm like, well, what am I singing? I
Well,
don't
that's why you do the research,
No, I
right?
don't
It's
want
like,
to
well,
do the
why do you,
research.
yeah,
You know
exactly. What
why?
do you,
No, here's the thing. I don't want to do the research because I'm never going to get a definite answer. And I want a definite answer. I'm the kind of person who wants very clear instructions. I want
Mhm.
I tell me exactly how it should be, or what exactly you mean. I don't want to have to try to figure out who, what, where, when, why. You know? I don't
Mm-hmm.
like that. Anyways, anyways, what else is going on with you, Julie? What did you do while we were gone? You went to a graduation, didn't you?
I did. I went Angie. Angie
Mm-hmm.
graduated.
Mm-hmm.
Good for
Congratulations, Angie.
Angie.
What did Angie? What was Angie
Congratulations.
doing? First of all, she has a full-time job, and she was going to school. No wonder she didn't show up to produce the
Right.
podcast.
Right.
She
She's
could have said
busy. She's a
something.
busy gal.
She didn't ask
Um,
Yumi and Chisme HR to help pay for school either, which is great because we wouldn't have been able to help.
no, but it was lovely. Very proud of her. We were all very
Mm-hmm.
proud of her. I got to do that. What else did I do? Suddenly I've done nothing. I mean, I don't know. What else did I
Mm-hmm.
do? That's kind of it. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, we're very boring over here on this side of the world. So I don't know. I was gonna never mind. Never mind. Did you know what I was gonna say?
There were a couple things I think that you could have said, but I'm not sure exactly what you were gonna say. And
What did
so
you mouth it to me?
this is on YouTube.
All right.
I'm gonna put it in the chat. I'm gonna put
That
it,
is hilarious.
I'm gonna put it in the chat
Oh,
there.
that's what I was gonna. We have
Okay.
one brain, bitch. We have one brain between both. That's why we're dumb, everyone.
Yeah.
We're sharing a one brain. Okay.
Yeah. I
That
don't
is
think.
hilarious.
Yeah. I mean, do you want to talk about it?
Yeah, you know what? I don't give a fuck. I'll talk
Okay.
about it.
Okay. Go ahead. The floor is yours.
Oh God. Here's the thing, everyone. Um, am
By the
I
way, this is why you're a star. Okay. Go ahead.
quick question. Am I too honest with you? Because it feels like honestly, I may be. I
You know
treat
what I
this
think happens? I
uh-huh.
think that yes, you're very honest, but then it makes me look like I'm not honest at all.
Which is not true. Which is not true. Um, here's the thing. I don't need any judgment. Everyone makes mistakes, everyone has those days. Okay? Um, as Hannah Montana famously said. I did for the first time in my life, for the first time in here. Look, before you guys hear the story, one thing you need to know about me. Okay. If I don't have sex, I'm gonna die. So sometimes we make decisions that are not the best because like, well, do you want me to die? Let's talk about it. So, okay, for the first time in my life ever, everyone was on the edge of their seats.
Mm-hmm.
I had a pregnancy scare. I did.
Mm,
It was the worst 2 weeks of my life, to be quite
mm-hmm.
honest. Um, mistakes were made. Mistakes
Mm-hmm.
were made from two grown adults who know better and who know how to navigate birth control. And
Uh-huh.
yet something got lost in translation
Uh-huh.
and mistakes were made. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Then I freaked out for 2 solid weeks. I kept like there was like a dread in the pit of my tummy the entire 2 weeks. Or I would like forget about it and then I'd remember it for a second. I'd be like, oh, like I would feel my stomach drop to my vagina. Like it was rough for 2 weeks. Spoiler alert, I'm not pregnant.
What? Or I mean, sorry, I didn't mean to cheer.
No. It was a cheer
Okay.
because I
Okay.
think we came to some realizations during those 2 weeks. And
Okay.
I think the first realization was I don't think this is how I want to do things.
Okay.
Um, I don't think that, and this was with a human who we've already had discussions about the possibility of me retrieving his sperm for myself. And I was super not nothing on him. I'm still like this would be a great human to create a child with, but also maybe I don't want to do it by myself.
Mm-hmm.
Which was a revelation, if we're being honest, I was not ready for.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot of existential crises with it. It was fun. It was a fun time. It was a great
Mm-hmm.
time. a lot of like, well, what the fuck have I been selling to myself for 2 years?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it was just like every possible worst case scenario was coming at me, coming in hot. It was
Mm-hmm.
coming in hot. And it's just your brain being a dick because at the end of the day, everything just proceeded like normal. And then I was like, oh God, I've never gone through a pregnancy scare, everyone. Okay. I'm so safe and I'm so careful. I'm never like, okay, you got to pull out. That's never been a thing that's ever come out of my mouth. So I was very nervous. I was very nervous. And I actually don't know where I was going with that.
Uh-huh.
I don't. I lost my train of thought. I was saying that I don't.
Okay.
I have no idea. But
It's
here's the
okay.
thing. Here's the thing. Oh, I was going to say it came back to me. I was going to say that I've never gone through this, so I would feel think I was just gonna get my period, but I'd be like emotional, and I'd be like, is is that a sign that I'm pregnant? Or like my boobs would be sensitive, which is
Uh-huh.
also a thing when you're period. And I was like, I'm pregnant for realsies. And then one
Uh-huh.
time I spent 15 minutes looking at my boobs, being like, are they bigger? And I was like, Julie, within 2 weeks, your body will not be changing. My
Uh-huh.
brain was just fucking with me.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt
Yeah.
really bad because like he felt really bad and like sent me like this long text like immediately after we had sex and we
Uh-huh.
realized what happened.
Uh-huh.
Um he I like confirmed. I was like, "So did you like finish?" And he was like, that's a funny question. I did." And
Uh-huh.
I was like, "Okay." And then I got really quiet and then he was like, "I can hear your brain thinking." And I was
Uh-huh.
like, "I'm fine." And he's like, "You don't look fine." I was like, "Yeah, no, I'm fine. Get your clothes and get out of here." Like,
Uh-huh.
and then he left. And then the next day, or like that night, he was like, "Good night," blah, blah, blah. And then the next day, he was like, I think you were freaking out last night. He's like, "I understand if you were freaking out." He's like, we don't have to worry about anything right now, but like, if there is something to worry about, we'll deal with it together, like regardless of any conversations we've already had. Like we'll
Mm-hmm.
just deal with it. And he's like, "There's no need to freak out. Like I'm here. We're here together in this moment. It's fine."
Mm-hmm.
And then he texted me the next day and I never replied to him because I was really free. I just have never I haven't texted
And you
him
haven't still to this day?
till this day.
Well, what did he say the next day?
Just like good morning.
And you never
Yeah.
responded. So this man,
I responded to the last one where I was like, "No, it's fine." Like I just got in my head.
wait, wait, wait one moment. This man is sitting in his home thinking that you could be pregnant right now?
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
What? You need to tell him.
I didn't think about it. I'm gonna text him
He,
right now. I'm gonna text him right now. I'm gonna text him right now
oh
in this moment.
my
I didn't,
God.
that's not even a thought that came into my brain.
He
That's on me.
probably,
That's on
no,
me.
well, I know.
See, this is what he said. He said, "Oh, no, never mind. His phone number's right there. I haven't saved his contact because I deleted it once and then it's fine. Don't worry about
Oh
it."
my God.
Oh no, it's all coming out. He just said, "Hey, gorgeous. Hope you're having a good day." That was his
Oh,
text.
this man was okay. Is there a possibility where he was like, I would be happy if she was pregnant? Oh my God. He said,
No.
"Hey, gorgeous."
Oh, he talks to me like that all the time, though.
Okay, first of all, you need to tell this man that you are not pregnant. He is he is thinking that you're at home and don't want to talk to him because you found out you are pregnant.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Okay, well, regardless, you need to tell him that
We're
you're not
talking about
pregnant.
the same person. I don't think so.
I know, but you should still tell him that you're not pregnant at some point.
I don't
Yes,
think his
soon.
brain is like considering option. No, I'm not saying he's dumb, but like his emotional maturity, I just don't think that you're right. I'm gonna text him right now. You are right. It's just not something I thought. I'm gonna say, spoiler alert, not pregnant.
Oh my God.
I'm just kidding. I'm just gonna say
No,
hi.
that's funny. Say that.
No. Okay.
Well, what are you gonna? What else would you say?
Spoiler alert. Not pregnant.
Okay. Oh my
I
gosh.
sent it. I sent it.
Okay. Well, let us know what he says.
Jesus Christ. God, everyone, look, I can hear you all judging me
Mm-hmm.
for a mere, that story had a lot to unpack. So there's a lot of reasons to judge me. How are you so
Mm-hmm.
stupid? Why are you so inconsiderate to other people's feelings? I understand. Someone else just told me that literally 20 minutes ago. So
Who?
I don't want to talk about it.
Not
No,
me.
but no, not you.
Okay, because
You
I've
know
we've
how
been together for 20 minutes.
sometimes, you know
Uh-huh.
how sometimes you'll text me 3 days in a row and I don't respond?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, not everyone loves that.
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
I
that's not
see.
a great habit. And I'm aware that it's not a great habit, but sometimes I just cannot wrap my mind around replying to somebody
Sure.
for the mere fact that, like, now we're going to have a conversation. And
Uh-huh.
I don't have the energy for it.
Uh-huh.
Terrible, terrible habit. And it's what I told this person. I was like, it's a terrible habit of mine. I sent them a screenshot of you. There was 3 days that you had texted me and I didn't reply. I was like, just to confirm, this isn't a
Uh-huh.
you thing. This is a
Uh-huh.
thing that I do. Ask Angie. This is a thing
Uh-huh.
that I do. I'm not proud of it. I don't think it's a good habit. It is a habit I'm trying to break. I just like the idea of having a conversation sometimes is like, I don't want to talk to people today.
Mm-hmm.
You
Ooh,
know,
and I
the
called her
only
on the
people,
phone yesterday without warning her, by the way. I
you know what?
know
But
I know she was shitting her pants. And
oh,
it
I
rang
wasn't.
3 times too, so I knew she was thinking about it.
I was confused by it. I'm not
I'm
used to
just
people calling
kidding.
me except my mom, but yeah, I was confused about it. But
Wait,
anywho,
you and Candace aren't fighting, are you?
no, no, no. I was
Oh,
about to say Candace is
okay.
the only my Candace and my mom are the only people that I consistently talk to. And even
Mm-hmm.
on weekends, do Candace and I we don't communicate on weekends
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
until Monday.
I get that.
So yeah, Candace is the only one that I'm like, okay, I'll even if I can't like have a conversation, I'll
Uh-huh.
send her like a voice memo, like, I see your text. I'm
Uh-huh.
going to get to them,
Uh-huh.
just not right now.
Yeah.
Maybe I
Okay.
need to do more of that, of like, I see them, give me a moment. I'm gonna
Well,
come wrap around.
you have the red notification on. So I know so like people know that you read it. Did you not know that?
Excuse
Yeah, I can see when you read my text messages.
the entire foundation of my life is shattering right in front of both of us.
You didn't know that?
What the
Yeah.
fuck do you mean?
Your last text message that you sent me or that I sent you when I said email sent, you said it says read at 2:27 p.m.
But they're
You
not
don't know?
on.
I have it right here. Can you see that?
What kind? I can see that,
Yeah, I mean
but
they've
it's
been on
not
for a
on.
while. I mean, honestly, when I first saw that they were on, I was like, this is so bold of her because she doesn't respond right away. Um, this is okay. I don't know.
Okay, send me a text now. Send me a text
Okay,
right now.
okay.
I cannot believe.
Okay.
I
It
cannot
says it's
believe
been
that this
delivered.
is okay.
Okay.
What does it say now?
It doesn't say anything.
I can't believe that this is the way I've been living.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't bring it up because I was like, oh, okay, this is like maybe it's a new Julie that she wants to, I don't know. Oh my God. Okay. Mm.
I'm spiraling. I was just happy, no, thinking that people were like, "Oh, she hasn't seen it yet."
No, we've all known that you've been seeing them.
And now every single person knows, "Oh, she's ignored."
Wait, were they on your phone?
They weren't. I showed you, but I clicked on it and then I clicked on it again to like turn them on and off again.
Oh, I mean, unless somebody, you'll have to ask somebody else because they've been on for me for a while. Well, now I'm starting to
Fascinating.
think, does somebody, have you ever turned them on?
No, I would never do that.
Somebody needs to let me know. If I'm texting you and you can see that I've read this text message, I want you to tell me because I don't have that on.
I just text Candace. She's asleep. I don't know why I decided to text her out of all the people in the world. Um,
Okay. Well, listen, I mean, we
what a
have
turn of events.
this has really been the most chaotic experience I've ever lived in my entire life.
100%. This is worse than thinking I was pregnant.
Oh my God. I mean,
What kind of sick? Can you sue iPhones for that? Because
you
I
might.
never turned it on. I never turned it on. I didn't want to terrorize people in that kind of way.
Mhm. Yeah. I mean, I see
I
that you
can't
usually read
believe.
my text messages right away.
What kind of sick game? What kind of sick game is this?
Oh my gosh. I just remembered something.
What?
I saw a TikTok. I need to fix this. I saw a TikTok of these girls talking about how Amazon was starting to charge them for, you know, how you can like add on channels on Amazon or like, you know, you
Mhm.
can add on.
I saw that too.
I got an email saying, "Welcome to Paramount Plus." And I was like, "Welcome to Paramount
I
Plus?
got an
I've
email
been
about that
living in
too.
Paramount Plus." And then I checked my Amazon account and they added Paramount Plus to my Amazon account. 9.99 a month.
I got that email too, and I was like, "What the fuck do you mean? I use Adrian's. Why would I
Right.
add on to mine? Why would I do that?" That is so interesting. Interesting.
I need to get that fixed.
Well,
And there's going to have to be a lawsuit,
I mean,
right?
I
Listen,
think so.
everybody check your Amazon account because they're adding
Wow.
things to you, to your account without your knowledge. I mean, maybe there's like terms and conditions that we agree to because we're dumb.
Right.
But they shouldn't be doing that. I already pay the money for Paramount Plus.
Yeah, it's crazy. That's crazy.
Anyways, okay.
Wow. What an episode. Okay, bye.
By the way, my laptop died in halfway through our conversation of Dante's Inferno.
Yeah,
And so
we've
this has
really gone
been,
through it.
I mean, we don't know what is happening here anymore.
No, we don't. This episode might be better than My Boyfriend Died. It might be. This is a pretty great. I already can feel myself cackling when I re-listen to it, or hiding in shame. Either one. I don't know. I don't know which one it's gonna be.
I think when I listen to us, I think we're really funny. I
Dude, when
laugh.
I listen to us, you would think there's no one funnier around. I am on the floor
Yeah, I laugh
laughing.
so much.
Oh my God. I've actually uttered the words, these guys, all the time, a couple times. These guys crack me up.
You're funny. That is funny.
Oh
Okay.
God.
We're running out of time. We are
Yeah.
running out of time.
Yeah.
um okay. Get it together.
Mm-hmm.
Julie,
That's
you
me.
went somewhere to
I
watch
did.
something
I
that I
did.
also happened to watch. This is a very rare
This
occasion
is
here at
rare,
Union.
babies. Yeah.
Last week with my friend Christian, I went to go watch the movie Past Lives. And when I called Julie on the phone yesterday, she was like, "I'm about to leave. What do you want? Hurry up." She didn't say that.
I didn't say that's exactly what happened, but sure.
And she said she's going to go watch Past Lives. And so, Julie, you do a much better job at describing films. So I'm going to let you describe this film and tell us what your thoughts are. We also haven't talked about this.
Right.
I, I would imagine there's probably people out there who do want to maybe watch it. Do we spoil it for them? I don't. I'm not. We could talk
Um,
about it with. We could talk about it without spoiling it. Truly, can't. I don't know.
no, I can't do that.
Okay. Okay. You've been forewarned. Go ahead, Julie.
There will be spoilers.
Okay.
Prepare yourselves.
Okay.
I
I mean, it's not an Avengers movie, like,
you're gonna be fine. You're gonna be fine. Oh, past lives. You can see it in select theaters. The more you guys go and see this movie, it's going to spread nationwide. So you really need to go and see it when you can. Um, it's directed by Celine Song, which is gonna blow your mind because first directorial debut. No short film, no nothing. This is her first directorial
oh,
debut.
wow.
It's so wild to me because this movie is phenomenal. Spoiler alert. Two childhood friends are growing up in Korea. The girl's family, and it's like young love. They're very enamored with each other. The girl's family decides to immigrate to America, and it's her parents and her sister, and they immigrate to America. So they lose touch. 12 years later, they reconnect via Facebook and they start to acquaintance themselves with each other, and get to know each other more, and they build a friendship as adults. She's now living in New York and he's still in Korea, and because of time and distance and the way their lives are, there's just not an easy way to see each other again. And the friendship is taking a lot of time from both of them. So Nora, the girl played by Greta Lee, decides that maybe she just needs a break from the friendship again. Mm.
Can I add that when they're doing this all through Skype. And
Yes.
so it's like they're having a virtual long distance relationship.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's clear through the movie that there are feelings. Like this is more than a friendship. And I
Right.
think Nora feels it a little more heavily because she can't be with him because of the distance. So she decides to take a break. And I don't remember if she says a year break or a couple of months, but she does give a timeline to say like let's take a break for this amount of time. I don't remember exactly what she says. And then they don't reconnect until another 12 years later when I'm going to mispronounce his name. I know his real name. It's Teo Yu, but his one moment. His character's name is do you want to try to say it? You
Yeah.
kind of want everyone making fun of me.
I mean, you're gonna be fine. Um, hey song, hey
I
song.
think that's right.
Yeah.
I think that's right. Um, so they reconnect. She's still living in New York at this point. She is married to a white man. This matters. She's married to a white man, and Hae Song, is on his. He wants to travel to New York, so they reconnect, and he's like, "I'm going to New York," and then he does on a solo trip, and then they spend a couple of days together, getting to know each other and actually seeing each other. And then you realize that sometimes people are just passing through each other.
Mm.
I'll wait to say more on that. But that's basically what it is. Childhood best friends reconnect throughout their life.
Yeah, and I mean, they were when at 12. What do you know when you're 12? But
Yeah.
the story instantly tells you that they're not just best friends. Like this girl was like, I'm gonna marry this guy.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I'm sure you do know something at 12, but what do you really know? I don't know, but you probably can, speak to the emotions that you're feeling. And they felt there was a connection that was undeniable. And then they find each other on Facebook. It's very like, in the time of like, oh, now you can find people on Facebook
Mm-hmm.
and like you
Mm-hmm.
can search for people and it's like, oh, cool. Like, I wonder what so and so is up to. And then that's what they
Mm-hmm.
did. And they reconnected and they had this life of this reconnection that was all over a computer. Um, and yeah, I personally really loved the film. I didn't know this was her first film. It looked beautiful. The music
Yeah.
is incredible.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same guy who did um what's that? Is it the other that Barry Jenkins movie?
Oh,
Um,
is it him?
I'm pretty sure it is him. And then I think he also did the Succession theme song.
He
Um,
did. I didn't know that.
yeah. Anyways, um, yeah. I mean, I thought it was, I don't talk really. I'm not good about talking about films. But I thought it was a beautiful story. I thought it was a very poignant story. I thought it was a very realistic story. Um, uh, and I think it was more than just a story about who you fall in love with. It's a story about immigration. It's about living in this country. It's about where you came from and where your family came from, and how all of those feelings collide in the world that you live in here, particularly as like a first gen person. Um, and yeah, I mean, it's crazy. I mean, she immigrated too, but like just being here, and they make a point to tell the story that um she didn't have a choice to move here. Her parents decided to move here, but they make a point to talk about the ambition that she has, and that's one of the reasons why she wanted to stop talking to him about, like, I my parents moved me here and I moved here to fulfill a particular type of dream, and you're at the moment kind of keeping me from that dream right now,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
so we need to kind of put a kibosh on this. Um but yeah, I mean, it's a complicated story about feelings and love and identity, and how all of that collides at once.
Yeah. The themes are definitely endless. I'm going to read this quote that Nora Greteley's character says in the movie. They're talking she when she's talking to her at some point he becomes her husband. She says there's a word in Korean, inyun. It means providence or fate, but it's specifically about the relationship between people. It's an inyun if two strangers even walk by each other in the street and their clothes accidentally brush because it means that there must have been something between them in their past lives. If two people get married, they say it's because there have been 8,000 layers of inyun over 8,000 lifetimes. I'm not going to cry.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to cry, but I just want you to know that I want to.
Mm-hmm.
That I want to cry.
Why?
This movie, well, you know what? This movie, well, it really fucked me up, if we're being
Mm-hmm.
honest, because it made me think of, well, it made me think of my friend Julian and
Mm-hmm.
these moments that revolve around each other, and it just doesn't, there's not a right time. There's just not a right moment for you to really explore a possibility. And this movie made me just like unravel that. More than that, though, this is a love story. This movie is a love story, regardless of how it ends. We'll get to that, but it is a love story. Dale Yu, who plays Hai Sung, he broke me, bitch. His performance, I thought his performance was the heart of the film. He played every emotion so perfectly, not only in his face, but his body language. Like when she's ending the relationship over Skype and the way he leans back on his chair and like the anxiety that you can clearly see he's going through and like the wanting to say more, but he's just like, okay, I understand. If you need a break, then you need a break. And you can tell that it's killing him. And even his like his little moments when he's waiting in New York to for her to come up to him and he's like putting his hands in his pocket, taking his hands out of his pocket, walking in circles. It just like he embodied so much heartache for me in this story. It was hard to watch sometimes, like watch him go through this. There even as their adult selves, as the last version of themselves that we see, they are very clearly in love with each other and very aware that it just wouldn't work. It's just not going to work. And she very much loves her husband. She loves him and she respects him, and she's aware that this is the person she's meant to be with, but if under different circumstances. And there's a conversation that they have, which was my favorite part of this entire movie. The conversation that they have at the bar with the three of them, and the Hai and Nora are sitting next to each other, and her husband is sitting kind of at the outside of them, and they're speaking in Korean. And by this point, you already know that her husband understands a little bit of Korean because he's trying to learn it for her family, but he's not very fluent in it. And you know that Hai is he speaks a little bit of English, but he's not fluent in it either. And so they're having this conversation in Korean between the two of them, and it's such an intimate conversation of do you think in another lifetime we ended up together? Do you think in another lifetime or in a future timeline, do you think that we'll end up together? Like, will we find our place? And then they start thinking of, oh, maybe I was this and you were this, and maybe I was, and they're thinking about a life that could have ended up with them being together. And then there's a close-up of her husband that is clearly going through it because he understands part of this conversation. And it was just so gut-wrenching because it's not disrespectful. Oh, they did this so perfectly because the husband is not the villain. You never look at him like, fuck this fucking guy. I wish he wouldn't. Like, he's understanding, and he's not toxic masculine at all. Like, and there's a conversation that Nora, and his name is Arthur in the movie, and he's played by John Magaro, who was in Mrs. Maisel. What's the full name of that show?
The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel.
The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. And they have this conversation in bed, and about him coming to visit and all of this stuff. And he tells her, did you know that you talk in your sleep? And when you talk in your sleep, you talk in Korean. And then she's like, oh no, yeah, I didn't know that. Why haven't you told me that ever? And he's like, no, I don't know. It's just hard to know that there's a version of you that I don't understand.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, what kind of emotional damage was Celine Song trying to do? Because it worked. It completely, so more than a love story, it felt like a love letter to her culture, to Korean culture, a love letter to the stories that we don't get to hear. We don't get to hear about the things immigrants leave behind, the people and the experiences and the love that you leave in another country, that because of time and space and whatever it is, you don't get to go back, you don't get to re-experience. It's like a longing for something that could have been, but it just isn't. And she captured that longing of that life that could have been so beautifully, while still making it so clear that it just couldn't. It just couldn't be. It couldn't, as much as you wanted to, which is why I think the last scene was so important and beautiful. And every time I think about it, it makes me want to cry. But he's going back to Korea, back to the airport. So Greta, they leave the husband in the apartment, and she's gonna walk him to the corner of the street so he can get his Uber to go to the airport. And they're walking, and they're quiet. And he, again, Teo, beautiful with his mannerisms. Like, you can tell that he's anxious. You can tell that he's nervous. She strong. I mean, she's sad, but like, she's strong. She's fine. This is what needs to happen. And they say goodbye. Mm-hmm.
Well, I was just going to say that she's like that the entire film. Yes, she comes
That's
off
the thing, and
very.
I think that's why the last scene was so to the fucking gut. It got me, because you're right. She comes off the entire movie like sure of herself, fully aware of her emotions and what needs to happen, and she's understanding of his emotions, but that's not going to alter her journey. Like, she's on her journey, which is
Right.
so beautiful. And so they say goodbye, and then he gets in his car and he leaves. And then Greta walks back to her apartment, which is about a block away. And slowly you start seeing her body go through the grief of what just happened. And then she sees her husband standing outside of the parking of the apartment building. And then she just breaks down in his arms. And then it's over, bitch. And it killed me. It killed me. It killed me to think she knows why she's crying and he knows why she's crying. And then they got to go live their lives with that information.
Right. Right. Do you believe in past lives? Do you believe that there are people here in this world right now that you have shared a life with before?
Yes.
Mm.
Yes. But that's because I believe in I believe in energy, and I believe in energy and spirituality. I don't believe in, I don't know if I believe in religion, but like spirituality and energy. I think energy is very real. I was just talking about that at work the other day. I'm like, I don't think I believe in ghosts in the true sense of the word ghost. Like,
Mm-hmm.
but I definitely believe in energy that stays, that lingers.
Mm-hmm. Do you
I
think that?
mean,
Oh, go ahead.
mhm.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I'm not sure if that's like something that I've explored too much of the idea of that, but it is something that I think of.
Yeah. I believe in past lives. I believe that I mean, at the very least, I believe that people come into your life like they're like, I believe in fate, and I believe in like
Mm,
the absolute energy that sometimes you're just attracted to, and it's like you're supposed to be in each other's lives for a certain reason. I think
yeah,
that there is, you know, it's, I mean, this is hard because she immigrated, but like I think there's also something to be said about the fact of like, if you feel something, you know, it may not be just an accident. There may be
yeah,
other forces there, and a reminder for all of us to like take advantage of whatever may be in front of us,
yeah,
because you never know what it could be.
right,
Yeah.
right. I mean, yeah, the themes in this movie are absolutely endless. So much that she packs into this film and so many emotions. And it's a quiet movie. Don't expect a lot of fluff around it. It's a quiet movie. And Greta Lee is phenomenal. But really her performance, I don't think you get the impact of her performance until that last scene. I think
Right.
she's kind of there, and by the time you get to the last scene, you're like, wait a minute. But Theo is fucking magic on screen. I'm telling you. I was like enamored with him. I couldn't get enough of his performance and his heartache. And I could feel his heartache from where I was sitting. And let me tell you something.
And he's
The
hot.
bitch next, oh, first of all, let's get into it. He's beautiful. But the girl next to me, oh, that bitch was going through it. She was 30 minutes in, she was going through it.
Mm-hmm.
And then when they got to the bar scene, when they're having that intimate conversation, that's what finally did me in. I was doing
Mm-hmm.
pretty good up until that
Mm-hmm.
conversation, because this idea of like, oh, it really killed me to see her husband sitting there knowing what they were talking about. That's
Mm-hmm.
what broke my heart. That like
Mm-hmm.
they wanted it so bad for each other. And like, and he also, there is parts of conversations that he has with her husband has with Greta, that he's like, if this is what you also want, I will understand that. This is a strong relationship that you have, and if you feel like that's who you're meant to be with, then that's who you're meant to be with. Just, and then it's just such an interesting concept, because it's not wrapped up in a pretty bow. It's very like, that's what life is. You're not always going to get some clear answers and some clear closure and clear definition of what has happened. Sometimes you're left with these feelings of want and need that will not be resolved, because life is complicated and people are complicated, and it's It's not that simple. But I absolutely loved this movie. I loved it so much. I was like, I need to get out of this movie theater because I'm gonna sob. I was silently crying, but I could feel like a guttural. If I sit with these feelings a little bit longer, I'm really gonna lose my shit here. So I need to leave. Thankfully, I did. I made it out of there, but yeah.
Yeah, it's very pretty. It's a beautiful story. It's very pretty. I mean, I think it would be hard to not find some point in the film where you're like, okay, I felt that before.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so
Did you cry?
I didn't cry. Um,
Okay. That's okay. That's okay.
I didn't cry,
We're not judging.
but I did I did feel I mean, I did feel the emotion of the film, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I mean, it's sad. It's a little sad
Mm-hmm.
because it's like, and Nora and her husband have a conversation in bed on the first night that that Hay is there, and
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of like, she's like, he's kind of, the husband is a little bit worried, like, is this, what if this man that has come back into your life is, you know what if he is the one, and
Mm-hmm.
you just happen to marry me because of circumstance,
Mm-hmm.
because of where we were at the time, not only physically but in both of our lives. And you see when they first meet in the film, um and also how she needed a green card, and also how, um and also he brings up, like, you had all of these hopes and aspirations, and this is what your life is now. Not that it's horrible, but like,
Mm-hmm.
she he's trying to explain to her, like, this is your reality now, and is this what you thought what it would be? And she says something along the lines of, like, well, this is where I want to be. This is where I've ended up. um
Mm-hmm.
and it's just crazy to think that there could be so many, our lives could go in so many different directions, and with one single decision, it could turn into a completely different life. um and yeah, it's just crazy. But
Yeah,
yeah,
but beautiful.
it's beautiful. I mean, that's what life is. I mean, we're only, I mean, I for some reason I've been getting a lot of TikToks about, like, what is life, and why are we
Ugh.
here, and all that type of stuff. And then my friend Christian brought up to me the other day that he saw something where somebody was explaining on, I think it was probably TikTok, like, to understand the universe in a very kind of like overall reaching kind of way.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we have only discovered, we only know about such a small part of our universe, that if you were to take a cup
Yeah.
and grab a cup of water in the ocean, the water that is in that ocean, or in that cup from the ocean, is all we
Mm-hmm.
know about the universe. And the rest of
Mm-hmm.
the ocean is what we have yet to explore and find out. And it
Mm-hmm.
is just so crazy, because it's like,
Mm-hmm.
we're living our old stupid little lives here, and it's like, what? We're all gonna die.
We're all gonna die.
No. We're all gonna die, and sometimes it's like life isn't that serious, but we take it so
No,
seriously.
so
And
serious.
um, sometimes, and I get it, because sometimes I'm just like, just fucking live your life.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but it's hard sometimes to, like, live in
Yeah.
that mindset,
Yeah.
because there are consequences to things.
Yeah.
And yes, you could live your life because we're gonna all die, but, like, I don't know, people have feelings and emotions, and you're not. the only person on this planet. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, I don't know. It's weird. It's hard. Life is
Yeah.
complicated. Feelings are
Mhm.
complicated.
Yeah.
Ugh, but yet here we are.
Here
And
we
so
are.
go watch Past Lives. You can only watch it in New York and LA right now, I think. Is that right?
I think they extended it. I think it's like
Oh, you're right. You can watch it in other places. I saw when I was looking up tickets. You can watch it
yeah,
in quite a few cities, but
it's
it's
just
not
not nationwide yet.
right. Right. Okay. Well, listen, don't tell you we never recommended anything good to you. Okay.
Right. This is gonna be a good one. I guarantee you'll be seeing this come award season be talked about a lot more.
Yeah. Excellent. Thank you, Julie.
Thank you.
And now it wouldn't be an episode of Yumi and Chisme without a little bit of pop culture news, shall we? It's time for the pop culture pop up. First up on the pop culture pop up, Julie, you have news about Babyface being kicked off Anita Baker's tour. And what might that news be?
Well, here's what started it. Anita Baker and Babyface are they were going on tour. She's the headliner. He's technically the opening act. Not technically, she made it clear he is the opening act. So he's the opening act. And there was one particular show, I want to say in New Jersey, don't quote me. There was a show in New Jersey that kicked off late. So Anita Baker made the decision to not have Babyface come on, and she started at 9 o'clock so that she could do her whole show the way she needed to. So she was like, let's not do you. So then Babyface that night got on Instagram and Twitter and stuff, released like a statement where he was basically like, I'm sorry to my fans, I couldn't go on, blah, 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 blah. He didn't necessarily say that it was Anita, like, fuck Anita Baker. He didn't say something like that, but he was just like, apologies to my fans. Then Anita Baker, for a span of like a week and some change, was getting a lot of questions from specifically Babyface fans, but like mean questions, like, well, not mean, but like maybe rude in tone of like, why would you do this to Babyface if you're on a tour together? And that's when she was like, girl, he's the opener. We're not on a tour together. He is the opener and I am the main act. This is my tour. So said it was like a bunch of mess. She said a lot of mess about Babyface. And then she was like, and by the way, he hates Beyonce. Just so you guys know, yeah.
Oh,
She did. She did. And it was like a couple of days of constant arguing with Babyface fans. And then yesterday, Wednesday, the 14th, she put out a statement that said after days of dealing with, she said with silently dealing with, and everyone was like, silently, girl, you've been on Twitter the entire time. But silently dealing with cyberbullying, I have made a decision to no longer do the tour with Babyface. If you want a refund, you can get it at your point of purchase. He's no longer going to be on tour with me. Then Babyface released his statement that was like, I'm very saddened by this development from like my friend Anita. I wish her the best. It does break my heart, blah, 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 blah. Mess. If we remember, though, this is not the first time that Anita Baker and Babyface had some beef, because Babyface years ago had written all these songs. Give me a moment, but why? Okay, he had written all these songs. He's a writer. He's written for a lot of different artists, but he had written all of these songs for Anita Baker specifically. He had written all these songs for her. Anita Baker, I don't know what it was. I don't know if maybe she wasn't ready to put an album out. Maybe she didn't like the songs. I don't know. But she was like, I don't want him. Give him to the new girl. The new girl was Toni Braxton. That became Toni Braxton's very first album that
uh-huh.
completely changed her life. So the songs were amazing.
Yeah.
So they've already had beef. Then there was a lawsuit at some point with some producers, Babyface, Anita Baker. There was something there with some lawsuit. I don't know the details, don't quote me. But so they've had beef before. And people are
Mm-hmm.
like, this isn't the first time, because Anita Baker also had beef with Luther Vandross. Like, she just has beef with male artists all the time.
Uh-huh.
I do think that this could have been prevented if Anita Baker like just stayed off of social media.
Wait, do we know why he couldn't perform in the first place? What happened?
They were running late, and if he went on, then that would push the show even later at past curfew. And so she was like, well, we'll just take the opener out and I'll start at that time, and then we'll finish the
Right,
show at the regular time.
right. I wonder why they were running late. Like what?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't
Because
know.
it's not like Babyface is some up and coming artist.
Right.
People were, I'm sure, were buying tickets to see Babyface.
Right. And that's why she was like, y'all can get your refunds if you want them. You know, if you bought the ticket for him, you can go get a refund. Yeah.
She
Yeah.
must just not like him. My favorite thing that she said was, and guess what? He doesn't like Beyonce.
Yeah. Yeah.
She
Yeah.
hates
Yeah.
him.
Yeah. And then like Tank came on, Tank.
Uh-huh.
I used to love Tank. He came out and he was like, it's it sucks to see someone that I love and respect disrespect someone that I also love and respect. But she was like, I wish Anita Baker would have like given Babyface more grace, blah 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 blah. Honestly, I think this is a non issue if she wouldn't have let fans bully her online. You know what I mean? You just get offline, baby. You don't need to be on there seeing all the
Right.
mess, all the
Right.
questions. You don't have to answer all these questions.
Right. It says Billboard says that on the May 10th show at the Prudential Center in New Jersey, after reported technical issues pushed the that night's start time by 2 hours. What is pushing you to what technical issues are pushing the show for two
Mm-hmm.
hours? This
Yeah.
is a tour. You should be
Mm-hmm.
what? I mean, I get it, but like, interesting, interesting. All right. Well,
Mm-hmm.
good luck to everybody.
Good luck.
Next up on the pop culture pop up, another man is in the hot seat here. Tenoch Huerta from the Black Panther movie um, was recently accused of sexual assault. Is that what he was accused
Mm-hmm.
of?
Mm-hmm.
Julie, what do we know? And what is your reaction here?
My reaction when I first read the news was, ugh. That was my reaction. That was it. Just, I'm so tired. I'm so tired. I'm so tired. We can't have nice things anywhere, you know? And it
Mhm.
sucks. He was accused by Maria Elena Rios, who I believe is a musician, who is also a recognized survivor of attempted femicide with acid in Mexico.
Oh my
So
gosh.
she's already been through it. So there was a Twitter exchange where she accused him of sexual assault. Then someone, I think the tweet was a little vague, and someone was like, "Wait, are you accusing Tenoch Huerta of sexual assault?" She said, "Yes, and I'm not the only one," is what she said.
Mhm.
A couple of days later, Jonathan, nope. A couple of days later, all the abusers blend together. A couple of days later, Tenoch Huerta released a statement on his Instagram that in English and in Spanish that said that the allegations are false, that him and Maria Elena had a consensual relationship together, and that it's all going to come um to light, essentially, and that he knows, and that so that essentially people are saying this is a something that came about before Black Panther 2 came out, and people at Marvel or whatever behind the scenes had already knew about it and were trying to deal with it behind the scenes. What that exactly means, I'm not sure. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
sure, but he does say in his statement that this was something that, yeah, because that was the accusation. Well, you already tried to bury it. And he said in his statement, like, this was an accusation that had already come to light. And yes, we did try to deal with it beforehand to make sure that it was taken care of. Not because it's true, but because we're trying to get ahead of it,
Mm-hmm.
essentially, is what he said.
Mm-hmm.
Um, to me, who I am as a person, his statement reads guilty. The moment a man is like, we had a consensual relationship, it seems fishy to me.
Mm-hmm.
To me, it seems fishy to me. Um, yeah.
Okay.
Thoughts?
I mean, I don't know what the case is here, but I mean, it, I don't know. Just don't hire men anymore, I guess. AI? I just
I don't, yeah, I don't know either. It's
I mean, the crazy thing is that um this will happen for the rest of time because, and I'm not trying to make an excuse for anybody here. However, um being a human is complicated, and we don't
mhm,
people don't talk enough about these things to be able to put a person in a position to be able to make a clear and correct decision in a moment in time. And there's just, people are fed so many things that make you think that certain things are okay, and it just is, I don't ever see a world where humans are incapable of not doing things that they shouldn't be doing. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Um, and so I think what needs to happen, which I still don't think is happening, is having so much more conversations about these types of things, because
Yeah.
you can't grow up as a young kid and be like, well, I didn't know that this was, or you could have a kid be like, I didn't know that this was wrong, or like blah 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 blah, because nobody's ever talking about it. No one's ever saying
Mhm.
you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that, you should ask this, you shouldn't ask that, or whatever it may
Mhm.
be. And so you're sending adults out ill-informed into the world.
Yeah.
Um, and so not until we start having real conversations with young people,
Mhm.
to get them to think about what it is that they're doing,
Yeah.
will will I do I think also, there's just so many things like this are so layered, and why people do certain things like this are also so layered. You could go down to the socio and political type of injustices that people are put through, um, and correlate it to the reasons why they're put in certain positions or why they're making certain decisions and all that type of stuff. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's very difficult, I
Yeah.
think. But, I
I
mean,
think that mhm.
oh no, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I think this the saddest. I don't know about the saddest, but like the frustrating, the one of the major frustrating parts about this situation is that Jonathan Majors and Tenoch Huerta really were selling the feminist, really were selling the eradicating toxic masculinity. Like they both had this platform that was really digging deep into
Right.
we're not like the other ones, except without saying it, which is was really the selling point. It was really a selling point when they were having these conversations about equality and femicide and feminism and like all of this stuff that needed to be talked about from a male's perspective, because those conversations do need to happen. And then just to get, you can't trust nobody,
Right.
not one
Right.
person in Hollywood.
Right. Well, in general.
in general.
I mean, it's not
Yeah.
just people, it's not just actors who do these things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it feels I said this in one of the TikToks that I posted about it. It feels more frustrating when it comes from Hollywood because it's like, this is my escape. This is the
Sure.
thing that I use to not think about the shit. And now you're bringing the shit into the thing that I escape. You know what so it's just like, so now where's my happy place?
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, there are real victims behind all of this. So this is not about how
Well,
I feel about the situation.
right. Because on the opposite end of that coin, it's like now we're having these, now people feel comfortable coming out about these things and they are taken
Yeah.
seriously. Like, I mean, there's still a lot of, um, I think, a lot of work that needs to be done to help victims and protect victims, especially after they come out. But it's very different than 10 years ago when
Mm-hmm.
nobody would have said anything after somebody came out with
Right.
this. I mean, this world moves very slow. Very,
Yeah.
very slow. Okay, finally on the pop culture pop up, Ellen Pompeo and Katherine
Heigl.
Heigl,
Mm-hmm.
once of Grey's Anatomy fame, sat down and had a conversation together. Julie, you watched it. I've seen one clip. What were
I
your
didn't watch
thoughts?
it.
Did they talk about how everybody hated each other on that set?
They grazed over it. They
Mm.
grazed over it. They do talk about tension on set.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you know what? I found it the first half of the conversation is very much like they're talking about memory. Remember when we filmed this scene? Remember when we first started and this happened? And it was very nostalgic. And I remember like 15 minutes into it's like an hour long, 50 something minutes. The first 15 minutes, my face hurt from smiling so much. I was like, I'm obsessed with this. But you could tell me who I am as a person. I could feel like there was tension in the room.
Mm-hmm.
There was anxiety, there was tension. I felt this is what I felt at the end of the entire thing, and I analyzed the situation. I felt like Katherine Heigl was very excited to be there, and very much this is my shot.
Mm-hmm.
This is my shot. And Meredith, Ellen Pompeo was very much like, I'm still friends with Shonda. I'm still a producer on Grey's. I can only say so much.
Mm-hmm.
And I could feel it. I could feel that. So they do talk about what happened. My issue was that I don't think Ellen Pompeo, Jesus Christ, I don't think Ellen Pompeo gave Katherine Heigl enough breath between sentences to really express herself. So when they were diving into what happened, oh my God, Ellen Pompeo, Jesus Christ. Ellen Pompeo starts talking and she's like, when how did you feel about when you made those statements and blah, blah. And she's talking and she's talking and she's like, I remember there was a lot of tension on set and it was just very awkward for a minute after you made the statements and kind of when you were on your way out. And she's talking and talking and rambling and rambling. And sometime in the middle of that ramble, she diverts into a different subject. So by the time she ends her ramble, we're on a different subject.
Mm.
And Katherine Heigl is responding to that different subject.
Uh-huh.
What she said in the beginning kind of got lost. So
Mm-hmm.
they address it, and there's a lot of nodding and a lot of
Mm-hmm.
agreeing, but
Mm-hmm.
there's not really. She does say, Katherine Heigl says, it was very difficult for her to go from nothing to up here. And
Right.
her ego kind of got in the way. And there
Right.
was no one to tell her shut it down. There was no one to be like, keep it together. You're in a very lucky position. And sometimes, even when you know that you're lucky, you don't really know what to do with that luck. And
Yeah.
so she was way in over her head. So, and she's like, so I had a lot of feelings about the way that the industry worked and the way that things were happening behind the scenes. So I would get on my little soapbox, but not only would I get on my soapbox, I'd grab a megaphone And I'd be
Mm-hmm.
like, everyone needs to hear it, instead of doing it in a respectful and kind manner. I chose to be a little chaotic with it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that was her way of saying, I shouldn't have done what I did. And I should have, there are issues. There are issues behind the scenes, and there are issues behind Grey's Anatomy scenes. As great as that show was, and as close as we all were, there was a lot of overworking, long hours, tension on set for various reasons. And so they talk about that. There is a which clip did you see? Did you see the clip of a fan interaction?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
That was my favorite.
Uh-huh.
That was my favorite part. But also, I did feel Ellen Pompeo, D, are you listening? Ellen Pompeo and Jake Gyllenhaal have a lot in common. Okay. Where you can tell they're a little rude. And sometimes it comes out. Sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And Katherine Heigl is saying, it was hard to oh, I'm gonna forget it. I'm gonna butcher it, but bear with me. She's talking about grappling with her feelings about um maybe I'm not confident and smart and this and that and nice and blah blah. And then Ellen Pompeo's like, I don't think you were ever nice. Literally, and I was like, oh my god. She was like, I describe you as a lot of things, but I don't know if nice is one of them. I'm like, ma'am, ma'am, way to kick her when she's down. So, well, the truth hurts, right? I
Right.
think we all, I think we all knew, Catherine.
Right. Right.
I
I
think we all
mean,
knew.
listen, it only happens ever so often where you're part of
Yeah,
something and you become so incredibly famous
yeah,
right away.
yeah.
What that would do to us if we were in that kind of position, I don't know.
Let's
I
see.
think you would want to say that you would keep a level head, but how could you? You know?
Someone in our TikToks, when I posted the Charlie Hunnam TikTok, that is at a million views, by the way.
Oh
Is that not
wow.
insane?
That's
Yeah, that's
crazy.
insane. People really
Wait,
want to,
1 million?
that's insane. And we hit 1 million views on that TikTok in less than a week.
Have any of our other videos got 1 million?
Yeah, like the
Uh,
Justin Timberlake one, the Harry
okay.
Styles Spitty one got a million.
Oh, a
Anyway,
Charlie Hunnam TikTok? That is crazy to me.
and it was disgusting and dirty, and everyone loved it.
Okay.
Everyone loved it. But in that video, one person, like three people,
Uh,
I swear to God, said, "You look like a Latina what's her name? Alicia McCarvel or something like that."
I don't know who that
Babe, you couldn't
is.
tell me shit for 3 days. You couldn't tell me a goddamn thing for three
Who
days.
is that?
I
I don't know
said,
who that is.
it's this actress. What has she been in? What has she been in? I think she was like in Tomb Raider. I don't know what Alicia. She dated or she's married to Fassbender. No, that's not her last name. Shit, what's her name?
The
Hold
Candor?
on. I'm thinking of no, it's not Decander. Okay, wait, you're gonna have to pause because I do want to find I did screenshot it. Give me one moment. Oh shit, did I
No,
not?
yeah, Alicia Vikander.
Oh, maybe her.
Yeah,
Is it
she's
her?
married to Michael Fassbender.
Yeah, her. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah.
That is so
And
sweet.
And I said, that is an interesting comparison. I mean, I'll take it in a second.
She's
In a
Swedish.
second.
Yeah. Okay.
Um, yeah, it was weird. It was
Okay.
weird.
No, I mean
But
not.
I was like, if I do that with that kind of compliment, are you kidding? One time someone said, I watched the Colin Farrell movie because of you. Oh, babe, you
You
can't
want
tell
to?
me nothing.
Somebody told me this is how I know people are funny because and it had to have just been that particular photo. But somebody on Grinder years ago, um, two people told me that I look like
Mhm.
Jon Snow.
You know what, bitch?
No,
I can see it.
no. No. I'll tell you what it was. It was that particular photo that had that made my face look white, and then my
No, bitch, I can see it. I
okay.
can see it.
Okay.
I can. Oh, totally.
No, okay.
Pull up his face right now.
I don't look like that
I'm looking at you
man.
side by side. I'm looking at you
Okay.
side
Okay.
side by side.
Okay. Anyways, maybe
Yeah.
I look like Michael Fassbender and you and I can get married.
Fuck yeah.
Katherine Heigl, come on the pod. Ellen Pompeo, come on the
Catherine,
pod. Catherine, this is
I
your redemption. Your
really,
redemption tour starts
yeah.
here on Yumi and Chisme.
I really want Catherine to get like a proper platform to like really say your shit.
Right. We need the
Talk your
and we need
shit.
it. We need the whole thing. We need the whole story, and we need every detail.
Yes. I mean, what's it gonna happen? They're gonna fire you again? They already fired you, baby. What are they gonna do? Speak your truth. What are you gonna stay without a job for a couple years? I mean, it's already happening. You survived. Get on here and tell us what happened.
Right.
I feel like, honestly, I feel like, in all seriousness, if Katherine Heigl were to come out and be like, this is how bad it was, I don't think the reaction would be what it was back then. I don't think. I think people would rally around her.
Right, but she would have to be honest about what she did as well.
And I don't think she has a struggle because she already kind of was like, my ego got too big, and I definitely was talking shit. Like I definitely
Uh-huh.
I was saying a lot of things that I shouldn't. And you can tell because she has a new show,
Hmm.
Firefly Lane, I think it's what it's called, on Netflix. Jenny's watching, my friend Jenny's watching it. And she was talking about it's like her and another woman who play best friends. And in the show, there's a younger teenage versions of themselves. And she talks about seeing these teenage versions of themselves. And those actresses deal with things sometimes that and she's like, and I sit them down and I'm like, you have to do this and don't let people do this and don't she's like, I feel this protection to want to like
Mm.
give them a platform to speak up for themselves and not let people walk all over them. So I do think she went through some stuff. I have been unkind to Katherine Heigl in the past, and I'll tell you what really did it. It's not the shitty attitude. It's not the diva behavior. We all go through shit. It's the talking shit on writers.
Mm.
That's what really did it for me because it's like they're also overworked and underpaid, bitch. You're just overworked. They're
Hmm.
overworked and underpaid, and they're doing their best for you to come out and be like the writing was not up to par for what it needed to be for an Emmy nomination. That's fucked up because you're not only shitting on yourself, you're shitting on someone else's work that is working very hard to create content for you.
Right.
And so that's what really did it. The diva behavior, the talking shit on Knocked Up, I don't think there's anything wrong with that, to be honest.
All right. Catherine,
Yeah.
you're welcome anytime.
Catherine, please.
That is going to do it for us. We'll be back next week with more pop culture cheese man. Julie, do you have a Latinx spotlight?
Yes, babes. Oh, if you're on TikTok, if you're on the Latin side of TikTok, you have gotten La Casa de los Famosos, which is like Big Brother for Mexico. They don't call it Big Brother though, but Big Brother for Mexico and all Latin American celebrities. I don't know who any of these people are, but let me tell you something. I do know who one of them is. She's a YouTube personality. Her name is Wendy Guevara. She's a trans woman. This is the first trans woman who has been on the show. So it is like Big Brother, 24/7 streaming. You can watch it on Twitch. Like I said, Los Famosos. I know. I know. I'm obsessed with it though because Wendy Guevara, the Latinx Spotlight is not that show. The Latinx Spotlight is Wendy Guevara, and the way it's Wendy's show and we're just watching it. These other people, we're just there for a good time. Okay. I'm obsessed with her. Think of Trixie and Katya wrapped into one Latina woman. Like she is hilarious. She commands attention. She's charismatic. And there's like three heterosexual men that cannot get enough of her. Let me tell you something, who claim that they started the show with like, all the pussy they're getting. You know, when you're wrapped, apparently, when you're in the house 24/7 with the same people, things come out that you would. I'm like, what? How do we get here? What are we doing? So there's one Nicola who she flirts with, and he flirts with her constantly. They're constantly flirting with each other. And he started off by like, he's straight, all these women that he's been with, and blah blah. And now they asked him the other day. They had this conversation about would you, outside of this show, would you hook up with Wendy? Y'all are always flirty. Would you? And he's like, no, I don't hook up with men. I don't hook up with, penises are not my thing, blah, blah, blah. It's very complicated because she's a trans woman, but she allows them to call her a man sometimes. And I don't know if that's just lingo. I don't even really know if she's okay with it, but she allows it. So we'll leave it at that. And then by the end of the conversation, he's like, well, I don't know, maybe. I mean, who's to say that I wouldn't be, interested in a dick? Who's to say? And then they've seen her naked. A couple of them have seen her naked, and they went back to look again. So guys, it's wild in that house. Not only that though, she's just being herself, but she's really creating an environment for very interesting conversations that you do not see in Latin America television. You just don't see it. She was telling them about the one and only time that she's been discriminated against in a bathroom. They didn't let her use the women's bathroom. And then she tried to use the men's bathroom, and they didn't let her use the men's bathroom either. They just didn't want her to use the bathrooms. And it's such an interesting conversation because these heterosexual men that are very machista are very much like, that's so fucked up. You should have beat that woman's ass. Like, they're so offended for her. It's these conversations that you do not see happening. She talks about that. She talks about her upbringing that was very traumatic. She talks about men that have broken her heart, men that have wanted to only date her on the down low. She talks about her prostitution. She used to be a prostitute. She talks about prostitution. She talks about sex workers and the way that they deserve respect as well. Like, conversations that do not happen in Latin households. They just don't happen. And she is allowing and opening those conversations because they have a lot of celebrities that I've looked up, and they've been around for a few years. So I'm sure all the tias and the tios are tuning into the show, and they get to hear these conversations happening about the fluidity of sexuality and the fact that a man can live his entire life and be like, I'm attracted to women. And maybe Wendy comes along and they're like, I don't know, man, maybe I would. And it's just so interesting to see people's mind open up literally right in front of us. I cannot get enough of it. So much so that I scrolled for 30 minutes on my TikTok and it was nothing but La Casa de los Famosos clips, because I watch all of them because I'm obsessed with Wendy. So Wendy Guevara, you should follow her on Instagram. She's hilarious. She's on YouTube. I really wish everyone that listened to us was fluent in Spanish so you could really grasp the hilarity in her character. But unfortunately, some of y'all are going to be missing out, and that's sad.
I don't know. Julie talking about a reality TV show as her azúcar
I
is
know. I know.
a chef's kiss.
I know.
Thank you, Julie. Time for
Thank
some
you.
azúcar. I will go first. My azúcar this week is I listened to Janelle Monáe's new album the other day, and it was a delicious little piece of music. I loved it. It was great. The Age of Pleasure. It's only 32 minutes long, but quite pleasurable, if I do say so myself. Most of it sounds like just all the songs blend into each other. Lipstick Lover is my favorite. Only Have Eyes for Two. Only Have Eyes for Two. Also a great song. Janelle Monáe, Janelle Monáe, The Age of Pleasure. You can listen to it wherever you listen to music. Julie, your azúcar?
My azúcar. Noah Kahan. It's spelled Kahan. His album Stick Season (parentheses) will all be here forever. He has Stick Season, and then he has Stick Season will all be here forever. That's a deluxe version, and it has 21 songs. Think Mumford and Sons. Think the Lumineers. That kind of vibe. And I'm obsessed with it. I cannot emphasize just how obsessed. I've listened to nothing but this album for the last 5 days. For the last 5 days. On a loop, when I'm showering, when I'm driving, when I'm at work, when I'm at home, like constantly listening to this album. A couple of standout Stick Season. The title track is phenomenal. Highly recommend. All My Love, great. Come Over, wonderful. Orange Juice, I've never felt that kind of pain in my life. Dial Drunk is a phenomenal one. Call Your Mom is also really good, and Paul Revere. But let me tell you, it's a knockout out of the park. 0 skips. 21 out of 21. Every single song is phenomenal. The songwriting, the metaphors, the lyricism is so deep, and it will give you existential crises, and you will sit there and you'll wonder how you got to this point. Why is your life the way it is? And you'll wonder, did Noah Khan break into my apartment and read my diary? That's weird. He's so talented, and his voice is so unique and interesting. I first discovered him because he did a collaboration with Joy Oladokun that I really like, and then I listened to this, and it's phenomenal. He's only 26 years old, and he's knocking it out of the park. So Noah Can, Stick Season, will all be here forever. Listen to it on Spotify or wherever you listen to music. There's some great live performances of his on YouTube that you should also watch, because clearly I'm now obsessed with him, and I've consumed every single thing I can of his. So
Noah Can. Ooh, you have a type.
I know, bitch. I know. Okay, Jenny. Jenny told me the same thing. I know. I know. He's very handsome.
Looking like Hoosier's little brother.
I know. I know. I do have a type. I love me a singer-songwriter that looks a little rugged. I don't need them to look homeless. I need them to look like they could live in the woods, but that they don't. But they could if they wanted to.
I have a coworker whose husband you would find very attractive.
Jesus Christ.
That is going to do it for us. Thank you, Julie.
Thank you.
Yeah, we've reached the end of the episode. We're back, ready to attack. And did we attack?
Ready to attack.
This man was born in 1997, Julie.
I know. He makes me feel old. He's so talented, though. I mean, you can't even be mad about it. But he does. Okay, let's be honest. No, I'm sorry. He does look a little bit older, right?
Yeah.
So I was really like, oh, new crush unlocked. And then he found out that people thought he was older, and he was very offended by it. And I think he posted a video or a tweet about it. And I was like, oh shit, this man is 26 years old. Crush immediately gone.
I can see the little baby face in him.
Yeah, if you really, yeah. I agree. But first look, if you're just glancing, he does look older.
Yeah. Okay. Well, listen, that's gonna do it for us. We'll be back next week with more Chisme. Make sure that you follow us on Instagram, on Twitter, at TikTok, at Yumi and Chisme. Make sure you go to yumiandchisme.com, sign up for the newsletter, read all of Julie's wonderful reviews. Make sure you send us some voicemail, some fan mail through a voice memo. You can do that on Instagram. And do all the fun things you could do with this podcast. Make sure you rate, review, share, do all the wonderful things. And then we'll be back next week with more Chisme. But until then, make sure you have lots of love, lots of peace, and most importantly, lots of Chisme in your life. Bye.